All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Josh Harris. I'm the track president at Darlington Raceway. We are thrilled to be here in Greenville today. When you think about stock car auto racing, a lot of the history and tradition right here. When you think about South Carolina, think about NASCAR. So we're so thrilled to be here. Thank you to all of our media that have shown up today. Thank you to the Greenville Chamber of Commerce. Carlos and his staff have been a great partner with us in a short amount of time to coordinate and organize this event. I want to thank our team who's put all this together. I want to thank Marshall Griffin, who brought the original first entry. So the car over here to my right, to your left, is the first entry into the first race at Darlington back Labor Day weekend of 1950, which means we're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year, and the upcoming Cookout Southern 500 is going to be the culmination of our year-long celebration, recognizing, remembering, highlighting the history and tradition of Darlington Raceway. We also have Jeremy Reeves and his family, CEO of Cookout. We couldn't put on the Cookout Southern 500 without great partners like Jeremy, so thank you, Jeremy, for being here, you and your family, and all the support that you give us. Got NASCAR Hall of Famer legend Bobby Labonte also here with us. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that. Thank you for being here. And so many other friends. We have some members of the Greenville delegation here, Representative Paul Wickensheimer, Representative Chris Huff, Senator Rex Rice. Thank you all for being here. If I missed anyone else, my apologies, but we do thank you all for being here today. We talk about history, and Darlington Raceway is a big part of NASCAR's history. The track opened 2 years after NASCAR officially was started back in 1948. The first race at Darlington was Labor Day weekend in 1950. A visionary by the name of Harold Brasington built the racetrack, became one of the toughest tracks on the circuit today, and we're thrilled to have driver Ross Chastain with us here, and he's going to tell you a little bit about why it's so tough to drive Darlington Raceway, what it means to win at Darlington Raceway. As we look ahead to Labor Day weekend, just about 30 days away from us, we're going to be the opening round of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs for the Cup Series and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So we've got a double-header playoff weekend on tap, August 30th and 31st at Darlington Raceway. We are looking forward to that so much. In addition to the drivers wanting to win, it's a place where race fans want to come and celebrate the history and tradition of our sport and see today's competitors test themselves against one of the toughest tracks on the circuit. And we have fans that come from all 50 states, from 10 or more countries every race weekend. They come in and stay in our hotels, they eat in our restaurants, they get to experience the true South Carolina hospitality. Annually, the races at Darlington generate a little over $112 million in economic impact for the state, and that's something we are really proud of. As I mentioned, Greenville, Spartanburg area has been a hotbed for NASCAR over the years. NASCAR Hall of Famer and legend David Pearson won 105 Cup Series races 10 times at Darlington Raceway. The all-time winner is from right here. Larry Pearson, two-time NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. Jeremy Clements, current driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, is from right here. And a couple of legendary car owners, Bud Moore and Cotton Owens, also from right here in the Greenville-Spartanburg area. So, like I said, a rich history and tradition, and it's something that we are proud to be here to support. And speaking of support, we are very fortunate to have great support from the state of South Carolina, from our leadership, including Governor Henry McMaster, who's graciously joined us today. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Well, I tell you, I don't miss an opportunity to come to Greenville. I don't know I guess everybody here lives in Greenville, most people. Do you know this is one of the most beautiful cities in America? And when I talk to the leaders from around the world that have come looking for a place to land in this country, and they want to come to South Carolina, more and more they're mentioning Greenville, as I do. But this is really a beautiful place. There's quite a contrast to this beauty and elegance and calmness and peace to be talking about a NASCAR race. But I'll tell you, they go together. As unique as Greenville is, By the way, it's very unique to have a press conference and have to compete with the geese. But if you have not been to Darlington, you ought to go. How many have not been to Darlington? If you don't mind, raise it. I know a lot of people have not been to Darlington, but this race is something unique. There's not another one like it. The track is unique. They had to shape it a certain way to allow for the pond over there to stay. And it is absolutely spectacular. And the competition is fierce, is high, is sophisticated. The instruments, of the various measurements that they're making of the temperature of the tires and the heartbeat of the drivers, and just a minute detail. And when they bring the cars in to fuel them up and change tires, they can do all of that in about 12 seconds. It is really something to see. It is high competition. And I'll give you an idea what I do in the speech. If I can remember, it was in 2003, Ricky Bush and...
Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch.
Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. Okay. It was 400-mile race, and of course they have the yellow flag, so they have to slow down, but the average speed was 125 miles an hour. And who won? Craven?
Craven just edged him in what was the closest finish in NASCAR history on .002 seconds.
That is 2/1000ths of a second. After 400 miles of racing, up the speeds up to 200 miles an hour. Now that is keen competition. And in order to do that, these drivers have to be fit, they have to be sharp. These engines, the cars, they used to look like that. They don't look like that anymore. They used to really be...
They look closer to this one right here.
Yeah, very much closer. But it is keen competition. The energy, the sound of those motors roaring, and watching those drivers maneuver those vehicles is something that you really have to see. And there's not another place like it in the country. They call it the track Too Tough to Tame, the Lady in Black, and every driver wants to win at Darlington, and they don't think like they completed their career until they do. So it's really something worth going to see, and I hope you'll do it, or you'll remember it, and you'll understand competition a little bit better after you see this. So Josh, thank you for all of what you do, and I appreciate Rob Woods to be here to explain the difference between, listen, these guys, when they're driving, they're not drinking, they're not paying attention, they ain't looking at the cell phones, they are driving 100%, and they're driving safe, and that's what we want everybody to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. That was a great segue. Our next guest with us is Director Robert Woods from the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. We are very fortunate. We've had several-year partnership with the Department of Public Safety with our Craftsman Truck Series race. It's been in the spring the past few years, but this year we're on Labor Day weekend. So we are getting behind the Sober or Slammer campaign, and Director Woods is going to tell you more about that. But really, what we want to spread the message of is for all of our race fans driving to and from the track, and for everyone that's going to be out on the roads in the state of South Carolina over the holidays and throughout the upcoming weeks, drive sober. It's very important to get safely where you're going from, and we really want to stress that to all of our race fans. So again, thank you, Director Woods, and all of your team for being here today. We're excited about the upcoming Sober or Slammer 200.
Great. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning. As always, I want to begin by thanking Governor McMaster for his staunch support of law enforcement in the state of South Carolina, as well as his steadfast commitment to highway safety. Now, I know I speak for Colonel Williamson from the Highway Patrol and all of our troopers here and the Department of Public Safety, Governor, when I tell you how much we appreciate your support of the Highway Patrol in our department. I also want to thank Josh Harris, Ross Chastain, and NASCAR for joining SCDPS and keeping South Carolina's highways safer. Your partnership has allowed us to get our message to more people in more places and has undoubtedly helped to save lives. As NASCAR fans look forward to a great race weekend at Darlington, during the Labor Day holiday, the Department of Public Safety reaches the end of the 100 deadly days of summer. And that's the period of time from Memorial Day to Labor Day when historically we see a spike in highway deaths. And sadly, what we know also is impaired driving is still a lead cause of highway deaths. And just to kind of put some perspective on that, that is one cause that is 100% preventable. It's just a matter of not getting behind the wheel after you drink. Of course, strict enforcement of highway laws by the Highway Patrol and by our local law enforcement partners is going to go a long way in saving lives. But we also know that another key part of that is informing and educating the public. Over the past 4 years, we've had a great partnership with Darlington Raceway and NASCAR to bring the message of highway safety to race fans and the motoring public through an incredible partnership, which has included our sponsorship of the Buckle Up South Carolina 200, which Ross, as a matter of fact, won last year. Wanted to make sure we pointed that out. And now the newly named Sober or Slammer 200, which will run for the first time over the Labor Day weekend. While this is our third year as entitlement sponsor for the race in Darlington, it marks the first time that our Sober or Slammer message will appear at a major NASCAR race, both around the track and of course on TV. Along with the race, we will also release a new public service announcement featuring Ross on our DPS social media accounts and our YouTube page. Finally, as a reminder to everybody who's traveling over the Labor Day weekend, please don't leave safety at home. Always buckle up, slow down and enjoy the drive, and most importantly, never get behind the wheel after you've been drinking. I also want to thank our media partners for attending today and helping us to get this safety message out. Let's all work together to make this a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Woods. Such an important message, and we talked about driving the safe speed. Well, a guy that's not going to be driving necessarily the safest speed, but he's going to do it in a place where it's allowed, is our next guest today. He's one of the fiercest competitors and fan favorites in the NASCAR Cup Series, but also a multi-time winner in all three of our national series. As Director Woods alluded to, he's our defending winner of our Truck Series race last spring. Unfortunately, he won't be able to compete in the Truck Series race this year because it's a playoff race, and his focus is going to be on the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs that start at Darlington. He's got 6 Cup Series wins. He locked himself into the NASCAR playoffs earlier this year with a win in the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, and he'll go after another crown jewel race to win to add to his collection. Driver, the #1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing and a partner of the South Carolina Department of Public Safety, Ross Chastain.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think that I can only mess this up now by coming up here and speaking. What a great group to be up here with, looking ahead at a NASCAR weekend at my favorite track. And I don't just say that because I'm standing here talking about our races coming up at Darlington. This truly is my favorite. And I don't really have a reason why. I hope one day to be looked at the way that pond was looked at whenever the build group was building the track, to take that much care to protect that pond, to alter the way the track was going to be built, is an incredible thing. And that's what makes Darlington so unique. It's not symmetrical. The straightaways aren't the same length, and they set up for 2 completely different corners. And as I've stood up here and looked at this Oldsmobile and think about 75 years ago what was going on in the world and what our sport was about to embark on, and what Buck Baker crawling into this car for the first time as the first entry and going to go try to race around the Speedway. Generations of race fans have gotten to watch NASCAR at Darlington. Decades of activation and races, starts, finishes, crashes, victories have happened. And it's right whenever it's said that a driver wants to win here. That Cookout Southern 500 trophy is special. All the races at Darlington, a wheelbarrow race at Darlington is special. And when I look at that trophy, I actually remember that I've actually driven one out of there, but it was driving a motorhome for a company, and we were driving Regan Smith's trophy out of there. So I've hauled one out. It just wasn't mine. I was hired to drive a motorhome, and that's part of my story. My career took off at Darlington from mid and back of the pack up into winning race cars by being spotted at Darlington over in turn 2, having the tanks pumped. If you have an RV, you know what I mean. Having them pumped out by the Honey Wagon, and I was spotted and then sponsored the next year, and my career has taken off. And I've never forgotten that. And so much of what I do now is to tell the stories. And I'm not actively growing watermelons, but y'all hear me talk about agriculture. Okay, I'm not on the road with the troopers writing tickets, saving lives, preventing crashes, and responding to those terrible crashes when the calls come in. They're not accidents, they're crashes. And I can use my platform to remind people that yes, we drive up to 200 miles an hour on the weekends. I wreck. I've wrecked the last 2 races. So why would anybody listen to me when it comes to safe driving? Well, because I know how to crash, and I crash really good. I'm really good at crashing. I'm better than all of y'all, but I've got 9 seat belts. So when we talk about buckling up, protecting your melon, wearing your seat belt, I look at this car, and 75 years ago, what Mr. Baker was up against to withstand crashes, and I look at what we have now in NASCAR, and I'm so thankful for all of the drivers and all of the groups at NASCAR that have built the safest race car in history for our Gen 7 and what you see now on the track with my #1 car, that I can strap in after I drive to the track, when the single best thing I can do is buckle my belts, my 2 belts into 1 click point. It takes less than 2 seconds to drive to the track by buckling my seatbelt. At the track, it takes me several minutes to get all in with all my safety gear. So that's one reason that I can hit the wall and talk about it. And then driving sober. I'm the Busch Light guy, okay? I like beer. I drink beer, but not when I'm gonna get behind the wheel. And I think that having that mentality that it is a 0 tolerance. We don't, if you're going to drink, just make a plan. It's 2025, and with today's world of ride shares, designated drivers, and having a plan, it's attainable. And we're not saying to not drink. I'm not. When I get done with a day's work at the track, I want to, but I have a ride home. I have somebody set up to do it. So getting to watch the truck race this year and remind people as a fan to drive sober is going to be a little different. I'm not super excited about it. I wish I was able to be in the race, but NASCAR rules are NASCAR rules, and I'll be watching with everybody else. I'm a fan of this sport first, and I've become a competitor through several years of hard work from 2011 to now of trying to make it in this sport. And like I said, we've won a few races, most notably this year with the World 600, the Coca-Cola 600, one of the crown jewels, and we'll be going for another ring at the Southern 500 coming up down in Darlington. So it's going to be a great weekend. I'm hoping to watch and be a part of, watching the Truck Series winner, and then going for our own Southern 500, the Cookout Southern 500 on Sunday. It's an incredible honor to continue to get the race at Darlington. One of the only tracks, I believe, that's ever had 3 points races in the modern era. We were talking about earlier. So really cool. Back to 2 weekends now, and it's a really integral part of our stop on our calendars. We travel this country. Darlington was there from a long time ago, and almost the beginning, and it's still there now. And the history driving through that tunnel in 3 and 4, walking through the one in turn 1, is something that's never lost on me. I always make it a point to go down to that turn 1 tunnel. There's some infamous names written in paint on that wall, and one day I hope to have my name on it. So thank y'all for having me. Governor, great to see you as always. Proud to be a small part of talking about safe drivers and just getting South Carolina residents and people visiting, traveling through this state, get to your destination safely. Leave the racing to me. We'll handle it on the racetrack. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Ross. Such a great reminder to everyone, and look forward to seeing you just in about 4 weeks at Darlington, and hopefully we'll be standing next to each other in Victory Lane. Lastly today, as I mentioned at the beginning, we couldn't have put this event on today without some great collaboration from the Greenville Chamber of Commerce, the City of Greenville. Want to recognize City Council member Dorothy Dow and City Manager Shannon Laverne. Thank you both for your efforts as well in helping us coordinate, take up this great spot for about an hour or so this morning. For those of you that are just kind of walking through the park, sorry we may be interrupting your normal routine, but just stick around and we're going to have some fun. But certainly our last guest this morning, again, couldn't have done this without his help. help and his team's help. So please welcome the president and CEO of the Greenville Chamber and NASCAR fan, Carlos Phillips.
Thank you, Josh. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful downtown Greenville. Like the governor stated, this is one of the most beautiful communities in the country. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the CEO of the chamber. You can see for yourself that that is true. I can also say that there is no more beautiful racetrack in our country than Darlington. And we're proud to be here today to celebrate 75 years at Darlington Raceway. As an Owensboro, Kentucky native, I grew up with a deep appreciation for the roar of an engine and the thrill of competition. I couldn't help it because there are a few NASCAR legends from my hometown. Darrell Waltrip, AKA DW, his brother Michael, and Jeremy Mayfield. I also worked for a company that sponsored the Bell South and Singular Wireless cars driven by Front Row Joe Nemechek. And for those of you, some of you may know why he was called Front Row Joe. He always got the pole position, but he usually crashed. So let me tell you, Darlington Raceway, affectionately known as the Lady in Black and the track Too Tough to Tame, holds a special place in the hearts of fans everywhere, including mine. For 3/4 of a century, Darlington has delivered unparalleled excitement, unforgettable finishes, and legendary moments that have shaped the very fabric of NASCAR. From its unique egg shape to its challenging turns, this track has consistently pushed drivers to their limits and captivated generations of fans. It's a testament to the enduring spirit of motorsports here in South Carolina. Now, speaking of enduring traditions, I'm thrilled to announce that the tradition of speed will continue with the highly anticipated Cookout Southern 500 race. This Labor Day Classic is more than just a race. It's a celebration of automotive excellence, a gathering of passionate fans, and a significant economic driver for our state. So we look forward to another thrilling chapter in Darlington's storied history. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys, and drive sober.
All right, thank you, Carlos. So again, appreciative of everyone that's made today possible. I look around the crowd, I see a lot of our law enforcement partners that are here. Thank you for putting your life on the line every day in our communities all across this state to keep us safe, and it's certainly appreciated. And we couldn't have such a great place to live without you. I would be remiss if I didn't remind everyone tickets are available for the Cookout Southern 500. We've had 4 consecutive sellouts. We're going for number 5. Don't wait to get your tickets. You can go online to darlingtonraceway.com, or you can call us at 866-459-RACE, and we'll be happy to set you up. Come check out Ross and all of his competitors in the Cookout Southern 500 on Sunday, and also the Sober or Slammer 200 on Saturday. On Saturday, kids tickets 12 and under are free, and they start at $10 on Sunday. So it's a great opportunity to bring families out. We've got special offers for our military, our first responders, our teachers, healthcare workers, and just such a big event for our state, and we're really looking forward to about 30 days from now. Got one more special thing I'd like to do before we wrap this up. It is our 75th anniversary this year, as we've alluded to. Earlier this year, I had a chance to meet with the governor in his office, and I started looking around. I realized he needs a little Darlington decoration in there in his office. So give me just 1 second. Come on up here, Governor. All right, so I'd like to present you with your very own replica Darlington 75th anniversary. It's got your name above the door, right here on the window, just like Ross's car would have when he shows up, and right there. So thank you again for all of your support of Darlington Raceway over the years, throughout your term as governor. You've been a great partner to Darlington Raceway.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Josh.
And we've got a special case that you can put it in. It'll sit right up there so it can go right on that shelf in your office.
Yeah, I see my name's on here. I'll be able to invent a lot of good stories with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. That'll wrap up the formal portion of our program today. Again, thank you to all of our media that came today. We'll have some breakout opportunities. You can see Kendall over here, and she'll coordinate that. Thank you again to all of our special guests, the business community that has shown up today. Thank you so much for your support. We'd love to see you at Darlington in about 30 days. And again, thank you so much to everyone that came out today.